Hey everybody, I wanted to do this while it was still fresh because I am actually uploading the last two videos of Mario and Luigi Brothership. And really what I want to give you is a true blue review. Because I know that there was some kind of controversy going on with this game and somebody gave it a 5 out of 10 on IGN and people were saying things about it. Now listen, I don't want to get too deep into it. I could probably make a video that is at a later date about what's really happening with the internet and the video game industry and everything. I'll give you the short of it. A lot of pretentious people who want to turn video games, which are supposed to be about having a good time, they want to turn it into a more serious thing because they like it, so it has to be taken seriously. They are rich, pretentious little... I'm not going to say anything derogatory. It's a new year. I'm going to try to be nice. But they're those types of people that like to ruin everything fun and wholesome. They don't want to lose their so-called AAA stance. They don't want Sony to not sell 100 million useless consoles that break when you look at them funny. And they don't really want Nintendo to do well. And you'll ask, but wait a minute. I thought they love Japanese culture and anime and Nintendo's all about that and everything. Yet no, they are very confused young people, and that's okay. We'll get to that some other time, as I mentioned. Mario and Luigi Brothership, with all the reviews that I read and heard, didn't touch up on anything legit. And what I mean by that is, this is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best game this year. It's not even close. It's either this or Legend of Zelda. Now, you can scoff, but my question to you is, video game. Somebody tried to say it's visual, interactive media. No, it's a video game. When you play a game, when you are sold something, it is a promise that you're going to get what you paid for. When I pay for a video game, I'm expecting to have fun. And for the majority of this game, I had a great time. I was laughing at all those dad jokes, another form of speech I want completely eliminated from the vernacular of the internet today. I enjoyed the story itself, as the plot was about making connections with people, working together with people. It's been done before, and a lot of what happens in the game story is reflective of Fire Emblem Engage, where a creature from another universe or whatever wants to separate everybody, but the motivations are different. And the way they go about it, different. Now, this is a game for everybody. It's a game for all audiences, no matter what age you are. That doesn't mean that it's not challenging. It is very challenging once you get past the first quarter of the game, or the first act, if you want to make it into a stage play, whatever. But the graphics are tremendous. They're beautiful. I know that there are frame rate drops, but I'm sorry to tell you folks that even if you get the most powerful gaming PC, there are going to be frame rate drops in video games because they try to have the computer digitally create too much at too often a time. This is what it is. You go to any kind of hub, there are tons of little beings there, and they're all doing their thing, and it's going to make the memory chug at a very slower pace, no matter what we're talking about here. So there are frame rate drops. They're not terribly noticeable. They're not egregious like so many you would see in, say, a Dragon's Dogma 2 or whatever. But for the most part, this game is visually stunning. It's colorful. It pops. Somehow, only Japan can make a world of people who look like plugs, HDMI cords, and outlets and make them cute. If you don't find the Connie character watering the lighthouses even remotely adorable, you have no soul. Everything about the game is beautiful. It's aglow, it's bright, it's just absolutely tremendous. It's quite the experience for any kid, young adult, whatever. Anyone that just wants to have fun. The concept that they hold your hand throughout the course of the game, they give you accurate checkpoints so that you're not deviating from whatever path you want to take. Completionists would love this game. It's very approachable for you because even the side quests will say, this is where the side quest starts. You got to do this, you got to do that. The gameplay is easy to pick up, difficult to master. Trying to parry or reverse everyone's abilities or even dodge them at times, despite the plugs, which is an excellent addition. Something that you don't usually get, if ever, in any kind of role-playing game. The ability to enhance yourself in so many different ways. The bro attacks are over the top, tremendous. There are a lot of issues with controls because so much of it relies on your Twitch reactions and the mechanics picking up those Twitch reactions, which no game can get at this point, no matter what you're trying to play on or whatever. There is one glaring issue that turned this classic game I would play over and over again into one I don't even know if I ever want to touch for the rest of my life. One glaring, humongous issue that none of the people that said they liked it or didn't like it ever brought up. And I will. And I'm going to tell you right now what it is. This game takes way too fucking long. And I'm not saying it like it takes way too long in the sense that it moves slow. The pacing, another term I want obliterated. There is no such thing as pacing, okay? I don't know what second-rate liberal arts school you went to or what art class you took. Pacing is an illusion. Everything has ebb and flow in life, in games, and in your precious art. So if you have a story or a game that is one note, you are going to have a very repetitive, boring experience. There has to be a slow start to a build-up to a bombastic ending. Otherwise, it is going to be a one-note wonder. And that is usually not even your beloved From Software games. Start off slow and pick up as you go along. So the idea that everything has to be boom in your face from the very outset or whatever you think pacing is, that is a lie, okay? There needs to be a slow start. Yes, it takes a while to get your hammer, to get your bro attack. But when you look at it in the context of the length of the game, now, I didn't try to complete this. I didn't go 100%. But you're hedging towards what you think is the end. And I knew the main character was not the actual main character being presented. I knew who the main character really was. But you're moving on. You're evolving. You're leveling up. You're fighting enemies. And at some point, your progress gets undone. So now you have to go back to a vague description as to putting everything the way it was to empower yourself enough to take on the challenges ahead. After that, you fight kind of like a last boss in Bowser, not once, but twice, just so you can get to what appears to be the final boss area, which once again requires you to engage in what should be limited to side quest horseshit. That adds another couple of hours to the game that are not necessary. But you take on a humorous battle with one of the real annoying antagonist groups of the game, and they're called the extension cord. I love them. They were so friggin' hilarious. Everything about them was great. I loved their designs. I loved how they interacted. But you get to that point, and you reveal who the seemingly end boss is, and now you have to go and carry on for another hour or so more mundane tasks to gather bonds to get to the final area. And once you do that, the final area is now loaded with challenges and enemies like the one you're seeing right here. A nothing enemy. A regular random battle where this fucking thing has like 10,000 hit points and takes forever. I leveled up to 48. I got higher. Well, granted, I played the majority of the end at level 46 and 47, but I was higher level than anybody else, and I could barely do damage to these things in comparison to how much health they had. The battles were taking 5-6 minutes each. Trying to progress towards the last areas was simply agonizing, to the point where I went from loving and laughing and having a great time to wanting to fucking kill somebody. And I'm sorry, I get it. I get I'm hyper competitive because I'm not a nerd like so many people that play these games. And I get it that I have no patience at all. But when I am screaming my head off, and I get through a cold during all this, a cold like I never had before, and I had a problem speaking because of my throat being congestion and everything, and I got over that and keep losing my voice because of a Nintendo game, which barely, if ever, happens. Nintendo is the best. And sooner or later, they're going to make everybody else obsolete to the point where Sony and Microsoft may as well become like Sega, where they make exclusives for Nintendo despite trying to compete with them at some point. But whatever and that would be fantastic because people will finally be playing video games. The world will be a happier place. It'll be beautiful. But whatever the case, as much as I loved the first 30 plus 40 hours even of this game, once you get to the final portion, it becomes absolutely egregiously, god-awfully, terribly designed. Not the backgrounds, not the combat, not the bros. The bros abilities, the later ones just require way too much clairvoyance or trying to understand controls that sort of pop up out of nowhere and are nearly impossible to truly figure out. So, again, I can't really tell you what to do with this game. I really can't. Somebody said that it's for kids, it holds your hand. It holds your hand. I'll give you one portion of that final, even the last 20, 30 hours. And you tell me how an 8-year-old can do this. Please. It'd be better for like a child to play through the majority of the game and then like when I was a kid, hand the controller to an older sibling or a parent or something like that and let them finish portions. It's so good and easy to get into it, but once you got to take breaks, man. You got to just get away from it for a while because every time I had to dive into finishing this game, the last portions made me nuts. They made me absolutely nuts. And it's so sad that a game this great could completely deviate from what it was supposed to be. Really, when you get to the end, you won't even remember you're playing the same game. It's just that simple. So, like I said, I would suggest it to kids or young adults or anyone that's got a lot of time in their hands and you can walk away from it for a while. Because if you take the final few hours in dribs and drabs, you probably won't be so offended by it or angered by it or whatever. But if you're trying to get through this thing, man, this game does not. And it's so funny because the final boss keeps screaming and yelling about how you won't quit, you won't go away. And I'm thinking, yeah, like this game, man. Like this game. So, yeah, what are you going to do? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I love it. I despise it. I think it's the best game this year. I think it's one of the worst games I played. I don't know what to tell you. I just don't. You got the same company that gave us, in the last year, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which 7 hours, I'm good, I'm done. I had a lot of fun. I can do it again. The Mario vs. Donkey Kong, look, if you don't want to do the plus puzzles, you can stop at World 8+ and you'd be good at 5-6 hours. Princess Peach Showtime, 6-7 hours of beautiful, wholesome, good times. And Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which was the best Zelda game I've played since like Twilight Princess. It was tremendous. I'm still streaming it on Twitch, not YouTube. I'm streaming Civilization 6 here. And then I have this game, which was blowing them out of the water. It was so fun, so colorful, so cute, so enjoyable, so engaging. And then it becomes, just look at it. Just look at what becomes. This is after 60 hours of playing, and I'm getting fucking beaten down by a giant flower that has ungodly amounts of health. So I would definitely suggest it for people who want to have fun. And as I've said, if you're young, pass the controller to your father or mother, more experienced video game players towards the end. Let them jump into the final challenge not knowing how they got there. Maybe they'll enjoy it a little bit more. I probably would still lose my marbles. But if you want a challenge, yeah, it's challenging as fucking hell. I can tell you that, towards the end especially. But if you're looking for another one of these brooding, dark, teenage goth phase films with ugly people in rotten areas that are rotting even more, slaughtering each other in the most atrociously visceral ways, it's not for you. But it pretty much could be for anybody else, especially if you have patience, which I do not. So thank you all for watching. I have more for you soon to come. Stay tuned, take care, and have a great day and a happy new year.